JGE here, and in front of me I have the Garmin Fenix 6, and today we're either going to be replacing this button here or we're going to be cleaning it out. As we can see, we cannot depress the activity button here, the top right one. This is usually due to either it being filled up with all sorts of gunk and you can't depress it, or that the button's faulty there, like the actual button pusher here. There are buttons on the actual board they depress, so if you are able to depress the activity button but it's not activating, it's likely that the button on the board needs to be replaced. So we're going to go ahead, open this up, and take a look and see what we got. Should be pretty straightforward. You should only need a T5, a spudger, and the flathead here would be mostly to get some C-clamps off. To start, we have 5 screws here. Alright, so with your activity on the top right and your 3 buttons here on the left, you can open up the screen towards the left, so from right to left, so that way you don't tear it. You can go ahead with your plastic spudger, go ahead and disconnect the screen here. There we go. So we have the screen disconnected here. Now we have one more connection here. Now to get this board out, we also have 2 T5 screws, and these have a slightly different shape from the ones that we pulled from the top. Has a slight dome to it, while these are flat, so go ahead and separate the screws. Alright, now we can get this board out of here. So again, we're not going to be really looking at the button here, as this is not even depressing at all. But normally if you are depressing any of these buttons here and it is not activating the activity it needs to do, it's likely that you need a micro solder on some new buttons here, and you can find that on our store, JGE&x. Now what's supposed to be happening is if you push that there, you should see the pushers are moving, as you can see here as well. But on this activity one, we're having no movement. With no movement whatsoever, I'm going to assume it's something with the actual button itself and not necessarily that it's has a lot of junk in there. If multiple buttons are really hard to press, it could be that you just have a lot of junk building up on the inside. So this is where our flat head is going to come into, or you can use something else, and we have a C-clamp right on this side. So we're just going to go ahead and get this clamp off, like so. There we go. And we'll push out this button. Okay, so this button's not dirty on the inside. And there it is. So if we look at that right there, see how it's bending to the left? So this must have been out like this, and something must have hit it really hard for it to bend like this. Not really seeing too many of these. And that should be straight. Alright, I'll go grab a replacement. Here's our replacement button. now I'm just going to go ahead and just clean around here just to make sure we got a nice clean surface, just to make sure that the seal will be performing good. Don't have any junk in here.
Hey, this is Joe from the Sauna. If this video brought you value, please support us by buying parts, tools, refurbished electronics, or sending your device in for repair so we can keep offering you free repair tutorials. Back to the video.
And if you do have a lot of junk in here, and that's the reason why it's not doing that, you can go ahead and just clean this up. You can use some IPA, so isopropyl alcohol, with a brush and just brush that, or just some Q-tips, some cotton. All right, so we're looking good there. Make sure when you're replacing these button pushers here that you do have a O-ring, as you can see. So right here we do have an O-ring, so make sure that that is on there. And to put it in, we'll just do the opposite. Now the activity button has only one way it can go on. You can see there's a slight hole right there. And so it's going to sit right into there. There you go, you can just try that. Now it's working properly. And for orientation, again, you can just line up those two pins, or you can think of this triangle here pointing straight up. All right, so you'd want to depress the button a bit because with the spring in there, it's pushing it back out. So depress the button. And grab our flathead again. Put it right onto that groove. Clamp it back. Alright, we now have movement. Okay, and we can go ahead and seal the device back up. Go ahead and grab your board. To line it up, you can look at your 3 buttons and line it up here with the button pushers. Or you can also look at your charging contacts there to make sure that they're on the pins. This is going to be a very similar process to pretty much the full Fenix lineup. In case you do have a different model, do watch out for some of these metal plates here. Usually this is for GPS and just reception, so if any are just laying around after you're doing anything, make sure those are placed back in, or you might not get proper connectivity, whether it's Bluetooth or GPS. Right, all that's left is to put the screen back on. So we're just going to go and just clean up the surface a little bit. Again, you also have contact points here, so make sure you don't damage those. And if you need to, you can also lubricate your seals. All right, we'll let this evaporate for a second. All right, in the same way we took the screen off, we'll place it back on. So you'd want to just match up your connectors. Right, just double check that all your connections are seated all the way. Alright, now we just gotta put the 5 screws back. Alright, and that's how you replace the button on a Garmin Fenix 6. Again, you can find parts and tools at JGE&x. See you next time.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you guys love what we do, please support us. You guys can click on the links that we have on the end screen. You guys can buy parts, sales, or service so we can continue to make great videos for you guys for many more years. Thank you.